Yo, yo, my sovereigns, what up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 6 of Splinterlands 101. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Life Splinter. Joining us again, Hive Australia's Gold Foil legendary, Matt Clark. Welcome, Matt.
Howdy, howdy.
And introducing Geo Tricks. So last Geo on the show, because in previous videos, there's been in the comment section people saying, oh, you know, all these cards, they're maxed out and all these strategies, like what hope has a new person got following along? Well, the whole idea of the show was to have someone with the experience to talk about it. But I took that on board and invited Geo. Geo's relatively new, 6 months or actually you came on board at about the time of the Chaos Legion packs, but he's gone hard. He's recognized the opportunity, and I wanted to have Geo on to show that anyone coming in new can really just catch up pretty quick. And Geo's been doing some stuff with the Life deck in particular. He's been, because the Life cards in the market, there's some of those like cheap as chips at the moment. Like you can snap up some cards at like 3 cents to 11 cents and level up some decent cards, which is what Geo's done. So Geo, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up?
Right. So in the flavor of life, each episode I've asked what that means to you. And on the last episode of Death with Holozor, like we got quite philosophical on the Death, Dungeons and Dragons background, the lore. And that was an aspect I've never really considered, like the lore. Like, the story, does that appeal to you? So I'll start with you, Matt. What is Life, the deck, like the Splinter? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think Life is it feels very human, right? So I think of all the Splinters, it tends to be the one with the most human-esque units. They're very much about fortifying. They're very much about shields and repairing, and almost like it's almost like there's the wilds out there, and the monsters are fighting each other, and the humans are hanging on, but they're having to hide behind walls. They're more defensive. They're more like I say, get the repair happening. Start the match with a lot of shields, a lot of repair, a lot of heal, and also resurrect. So it's about. I know I said the same with Earth about outlasting, but I think the white team is about. I always get the picture of a tidal wave hitting hitting one of those walls. And if I see a white team and I'm playing fire, if I can't wipe them out in the first round, then I'm not going to wipe them out. They're entrenched, and they'll hit back, but they don't necessarily hit as hard or as fast as a lot of other teams. But they'll undo the damage that you do somehow. So yeah. I more empathise with them as the white team, the Life team, as being the humans in this world, the more human-esque. And I know that's not from a lore perspective necessarily correct. I don't follow the lore maybe as well as I should, but that's my take. So yeah, Gio?
Yeah, you actually remind me, like at the very beginning of the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey, the early hominids, they're all huddled together in the cave, and in the distance you can hear all the wild animals screeching and Terence McKenna as well talks like we haven't got the razor sharp teeth, the razor sharp claws, so we learned how to sharpen sticks. We learned to compensate. So yeah, that's quite a good analogy. And Gio, why have you been going like hard on the Life deck compared to other Splinters?
Well, I only went hard in the last 3 days.
No, I saw two legendaries there kicking butt.
I just bought them.
Okay.
Like in the last 3 days, because I was on the markets, and I saw Life. I was like, hey, this is the cheapest suit, out of all of them. I was like, General Sloan, under $3. Come on, yeah. Bought it up. I was like, oh, while I'm at it, I need some I need some epics. I need some all the legendaries, or at least 2 of them, 3 of them, whatever. And yeah, and I was buying the really cheap, like 3-cent cards.
The General Sloan is the summoner of Life Splinter. Is that
That's
the
right.
hippo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hippo. He's really cool.
Yeah.
A whole lot of cheap cards to max out for next to nothing. What I liken to life is the connection to the higher realm, the astral plane. You find like it's very all the angels and all that. That's what I find it cool. It's very biblical, if you want to put it like that. That's what I find. It's like the connection to a higher self, like that's what I think about it.
And you got the healers, Peace Bringer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Celestial Harpy, time, time mage, whatever. Uriel, isn't that like some angel or something?
Yeah, one of the archangels, Archangel of the North.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's my take on it. It's very, it's about
Life-ish.
that connection. It's about life. It's about that life connection, that soul connection.
So when you when you first got involved, and in fact, it's interesting the three of us here on the show, because Gio, you were around at my place when I was like showing you spellbook, because when I first started looking at spellbooks, we jumped on Discord. There's Matt, and so Matt helps out, and then look along and was like, look, here's a chicken each, and we got a free chook raffle from Matt.
I was so rapt about that.
And that was your introduction to the game, and you also came in during that period in between decks, so we're all hanging out for the Chaos Legion packs. Now we were all at this point still playing with our existing cards, but you had very few cards available to you, and waiting for the release of the Chaos packs. So what was your plan when you realized, like, I'm new, I'm pretty much limited at the moment to some starter cards. Like, what was your plan?
Well, you gave me more of a plan by renting out, handing cards to me, I forgot what it's called.
Delegating.
Exactly. That got my power up to, to like bronze 1, I think, bronze 2, all up, like what you... Yeah, so that helped a lot. I bought 3 Untamed packs, actually, and then it sold out. I was like, that was my luck. I was like, oh, yeah, look, I'm so into it. And, sold out. I actually created my account in August of 2020. I just looked. So I must have just been not playing,
Yeah.
You're just not playing. And I knew about it in 2016 when I saw you playing it, and you're like, hey, I'm buying packs. I was like, oh yeah.
That was the alpha packs.
It's like, okay, whatever. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I have physical cards. Like, aren't they better? You know what I mean? And oh boy, was I wrong. I actually sold up all my Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection throughout the years, just recently. And I just bought crypto and shit with it, and cards really with it. So so anything physical that I don't need, I'm like, hocking it. Yeah.
So Matt, with in your case, like, we've seen what happens back in the alpha days, and you recognized the opportunity really early on. Like you dived right in. I was sort of still. In fact, what limited me was that back then the price of the crypto was quite high, and I was using my video rewards to buy starter packs, which back then were only $2. And as the price of crypto went down, suddenly it's like, oh wow, these packs are starting to cost me more money now, and I stopped buying. I thought, well, I don't know if this is going to take off. I don't know. I mean, I'd never played Magic the Gathering or anything like that. I had no idea. But I'm so glad, because I've spoken to other people who've just sold their packs and left. So I never sold anything. I just thought, I'll just hold on to them. If it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm limited in the sense now because of the summoners. I didn't level them up back then. So Matt, what would you like for someone starting now? looking at, is as an investment and a game opportunity, what would your advice be to them?
Well, I'd say, in all honesty, the imminent arrival of the wild and modern format will be a real equalizer for a lot of people who feel like they've missed the boat in terms of gameplay. They're getting beaten by cards they've never seen before. It's a card that was printed 2.5 years ago, and then they look up the price and go, well, okay, to buy that at that level, that would cost me $3,500. I got beaten by a $26,000 team. Okay, this is definitely play to win. Whereas it's not the utility of the cards that's driving up their value. It's not that much better a team. It's just, it might have even won on RNG, but it's the scarcity of those cards that's driven the value of it. What Gio said was interesting about the owning stuff that's physical is not appealing, and I've very much felt that myself with buying anything. My wallet has cobwebs on it because I've no interest in buying anything that physically exists. I've been saying to people, I don't like buying stuff. I don't like owning stuff that's in places. It just seems so, 20th century to buy something that's in a place. And if you want it in a different place, you've got to actually pick it up and move it to the other place. Like that seems unnecessarily limiting. And so something that part of the reason I think that I went in heavy early was I noticed there were some opportunists dumping a lot of money when packs were $2 at the very start of the game. Packs were $2, and very knowledgeable trading card game aficionados, and they were stripping packs. So they would, they'd buy the max, get the max discount, and then they would grab the legendaries and then just dump the commons and the rares. They keep maybe the epics, they'd mark them up a bit, but they were all about, I want to find the legendaries and I want to sell them for a lot of money, and the commons and rares, whatever. And I knew that mentality was grounded in their knowledge. Sometimes your knowledge works against you, and they know that common cards aren't worth anything. But that's the physical mindset, where if, you've got a big box in the garage full of slowly rotting common cards that you never play, and so they're because it costs you to store them, right? People, whereas I thought, no, hang on, common cards, they're going to be, I picked up most of my flesh columns for literally less than a cent each. I was buying thousands of them for one Steam, at a time. And so the people were just dumping whatever. They DM me and go, oh, yeah. And you could tell they think they're having you on. They go, oh, yeah, this guy, I've heard this guy, he just buys this one card. But you can just dump thousands on him and he'll pay, 2 or 3 Steam for 2,000 or 3,000 cards. And they, of course, thought they were, getting a spec over on me. But I knew that your thinking is grounded in this finite world where everything that exists now has a cost. You've got to store it. You've got to make room for it. You've got to keep it from the elements and prevent it from getting lost. Whereas if you understand the nature of crypto, there's no problem. You can have 10,000 just as easily as you can have one. And so I thought with knowing that the devs would keep the gameplay solid, and that the common cards that were out now in the Alpha Edition would be necessary down the track, it was an easy call for me to go, oh, I'm just going to stack commons. And then from there to go, well, why don't I just stack one specific common? And then there we go. So that was, I guess, the story of how it all started with the flash columns. But that to me has been a real mental change, where I go from wanting to buy stuff that I can point to and say, oh, there's that shiny Lambo over there. But if it's there, it's not over there. And I love the idea of property on the internet, because it's everywhere the internet is. And whether that's tokens, non-fungible tokens, whatever, that to me is more and more appealing as each day goes by. And I think it's a one-way trip, right? And the more people around the world who come on this trip with us, the more we change everything. And I mean everything.
Yeah. Interesting too. You touched there on land. A little bit of a feudal system here. I'm a peasant on with 2 landowners. Gio's recently bought a plot. This is again.
Thanks, Mum and Dad. I'm a landowner now. Are you proud?
Yeah, and they're looking at you like.
Yeah, just like.
No, that's good. I'm not sure I answered your question actually, Boba. So for somebody new who's starting, definitely learn from the experience of others, and also pick a league that you want to end up in. And if you're ambitious, make sure that's the Diamond League, because by the time the edition runs out, you want to make sure that you've got the cards that you want at the level that you want them, because they're not going to get cheaper a month or 2 months after the edition runs out. That's never happened. A lot of my alphas I didn't even max until Untamed was out, but somebody cracked a wobbly and sold out, so I was able to dive in and max out some of the. You grab max copies of some of these alpha cards, so I got my full alpha set maxed. But a lot of others that I just look at as well, and I go, oh, that guy's at level 5. It's only a 1 mana card, so I'm going to have to spend another $30 or $40 to just get one more. By the time because a 1 mana card obviously doesn't have a lot of increase in stats between level 1 and level 10, but the amount of times you play it, the amount of times I've looked at it and gone, oh, I should have maxed my gold creeping ooze when they were $1 each, and now they're, I don't know what they are. Let me check. What's a gold foil creeping ooze? It's a lot, I guarantee it. If it's not, I'm going to go quiet and suddenly come back because I've maxed my gold creeping ooze.
40 cents. I bought one. I needed it.
What, a creeping ooze?
Yeah, it's good to throw in. Because
for sure.
everyone was using it against me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my own creeping ooze and gelatinous cube. Yeah, how you like that?
I'm not familiar with the creeping. I've got the neutral one that reduces everyone's speed.
Yeah, that's the one, creeping ooze. Yeah.
Oh, it is one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at the gold ones though, and they start at $53 each.
Yeah.
And it takes 38 to max him. So that's not great. I have 7, so I just have to buy another 31, which would be $6,000. Yeah, no, I don't think I will. But again, that's the lesson, right? Because it doesn't matter how clever you think you're being, and I don't really need to get them while they're cheap, and they're always cheap, right? I would much rather have fewer cards, but have them at the level I want them to be. And if I get bumped down into gold, I would rather fight my way back from gold back into diamond and then get them at their full capacity, rather than with fewer cards, rather than have more cards all at the gold level, but then get to diamond and be unable to compete because the cards I have aren't leveled. So I'd say pick a card that you love and plan to get that to the level that you want to get that to. Doesn't need to be an immediate goal, but choose what league you want to play in, and the cards that you want, and make sure you're there before those packs sell out, because once they sell out, then the secondary market happens where people are selling those packs on the over at Tribal Decks, and the card prices start going up and up. And when the packs go up, the cards go up, because people know that now in order to open one, you're competing, right? You're competing with packs versus loose cards are competing with each other, and the more one goes up, the more the other goes up. So that's my advice to noobs. Much better to have fewer cards, but make sure they're at the level that you want them to be. Yeah.
And another point interesting there, when you're talking about the gold foils, quite often, because the gold foil cards, they're rarer, so they cost more, but you need less of them to max out. And sometimes it can be cheaper to max out a gold foil card than the regular foil.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often now that there's a lot of bots around that are buying and selling in the market. But if we look at, so $299 to get a creeping ooze regular foil to max, so just say $300 for max regular foil, and $2,200 for a max gold foil in the creeping ooze. So Peak Monsters has a great bulk tool that's so good for comparing. And I used that analogy once with the failed summoner, $9 for the gold foil and $23 for the regular. And I wouldn't have known had I not gone and done the comparison on Peak Monsters. So it's always worth doing before you move on a card. Just go and check. And look, you might say, oh, it's 25% more for the gold, but I love this card. I'm going to use it 10 times a day. Get the gold foil, because you're never going to regret having that extra 10% bump every time you win on your Dark Energy Crystal bonus. And
Yeah.
also the collection power boost is just nuts. We've only got less than 6 months left in the SPS airdrop, but even then you're getting a lot more SPS for the deck burn value of a gold foil than you are for a regular.
Yeah, and we looked at the price recently on the Rift Wings, and that was worth doing it in the gold foil rather than in the regular foil. 6 months for 6 months gone already. I remember each day going in and claiming it's like day 6 of 365, day 10. It's like now it's 6 months already. Wow.
Hopefully it gives a sense of urgency to some of these guys who are just spending it every day, going, oh, this is free spending money. Now they're on the downhill, okay, this free spending money is going to run out at some point. And if you're ever going to want SPS, you're going to want to start saving it up. So
fork out after.
Sorry?
After the SPS airdrop's done, you're going to have to fork out if you don't have any, has to come out of your own pocket instead of you actually getting assets from your assets, back. And the more you have, the more you get, And that's what...
And it's
just
33% staking at the moment.
Exactly. That's why I moved a whole lot of other stuff, crypto, into this game, because I'm not getting that anywhere else, safely anyway, Yeah.
Imagine popping down to the bank, putting some money in and say, I'd like 33% return, please.
I was talking mortgages with my sister yesterday, and we're on 3% here at home, and she said, oh, you're getting ripped off. We got 2.3%. So she's given me her guy's number, and it's like, well, if that's what you get, if that's what you're paying in interest, what are you earning in interest in fiat dollars? And the inflation that's just evaporating between your fingers, as you're holding it. No, it's stupid.
Yeah. Well, what we call inflation is in the club, that's their profit. There's a fractional reserve banking, privately owned banks. They're all there to make a profit, and they just have to keep skimming off that dollar every time it gets spent. And we've been conned into believing it's inflation.
Transfer of wealth.
But crypto, it's a totally different mindset, isn't it? It's a completely different mindset. And I think what you talked about as far as people spending all this free money that they're getting, that's from the fiat mindset. I never managed to accumulate any savings or anything like that, simply because I just never saw the point.
Never cared.
Especially when your interest is going to be less than the fees that you're paying in your banks. And then you come into this crypto realm, and it's just like, here, have this. Here, have this. Oh, they have this. Airdrops. What do you mean? Free? Well, it took me so long to get my head around it. What's the catch? Yeah. All right. So let's try on topic. It's like you're mentioning, pick your card. So if looking, and Geo's been building up on the Life because. And I've been looking in the market myself. Life is definitely the cheapest at the moment. What's some good cards in Life, in your opinion, Matt? That what's worth leveling up in Life at the moment?
Well, in Chaos Legion, I've really done nothing because I tend to drag my feet with these each new edition and just play with the cards I know. So I love Bill of the Radiant. She gets so much playtime with me. She's got Stun, Divine Shield, and again, excuse me if these are all the Diamond League, which is Stun, Divine Shield, and Life Leech. And so when I see no heal or when I see knockout, I go straight to Billa. When I see Blast, I know that she's going to be Blast Life Leech, which is just so powerful. Like that just adds. While they're hitting her, she's just adding, all this extra health coming back in. So I love Bill of the Radiant, but my go-to with Life is always Snake. You've got the Silver Shield Assassin there, who's just pounding, double strike on their last card. So I generally default to Snake with my Life teams. But Silver Shield Bearer is one I wish I'd grabbed while he was still sort of relatively cheap, because he wrecks me constantly. Anytime they want to focus all your fire on that one spot, and you just look at it and go, I need more shatter in my life, because he's got 3 guys healing him, somebody else resurrecting him, and 2 guys repairing his armor. And you're like, if this is a no magic match or weak magic, you're just not gonna crack through him. So I'm trying to across the board use those taunt cards a little bit more. I've had Kraken forever. I use him quite often. But yeah, the Shield Bearer is one I definitely miss the boat on. I get beaten by teams revolving around him far too often. So I've noticed with the Gladiator cards, I'm with playing in Brawls, I'm getting more my head around the idea of having one star card that everybody else is supporting and just sort of banding around. And sometimes that works really well, other times not so much. But I think Shield Bearer has definitely become that as an option. It's everybody's attacking me, everybody on my team is supporting me, and we've chosen the battleground. And I think there's a lot of strength in that. So that and the Silver Shield Assassin is a big one that I use a lot, much older. Chaos Legion, one that's grabbed my attention is Portal Spinner. I think I'll move on that at some point soon. There's something I love about Earthquake matches. They do tend to come up quite often. And one of my favorite strategies is spraying snare all over the place. So I'll use somebody who's hitting the front, somebody who's hitting a snipe, somebody who's sneaking. I'll try and get an opportunist with snare in there, like a dragon jumper. And so if in round one, you can strip flying off all of their cards, all you need to do then is survive while the Earthquake polishes them off. Now, there's obviously there's aspects there. There might be other things that they're doing to mitigate the Earthquake damage. They might be running self-healers. Snare doesn't help there. They might be running a lot of armor or repair. Snare doesn't help there. But Portal Spinner, with that scatter shot, he's hitting anybody, even guys like Dr. Blight, who are specifically can't be targeted. Camouflage cards can be hit by a scatter shot. So the idea that there's somebody on my team just really throwing a spanner in the works, just really here's a fly in the ointment. I'm going to hit your gold dragon, even though you've buried him deep and he can't be a snipe target. Well, I just happened to hit him, and now he's got no flying, and Earthquake damage is hurting him now. So that to me is great. I always I balk a bit at the 5 mana cards because you can't squeeze them into Little League, which I think if Portal Spinner was 4 mana, even if he wasn't quite as good, and you could sneak him into Little League, that would be fantastic. But I think even as a 5 mana card, there's a lot to like there. So that's my pick of my favourites of the Chaos Legion. But everyone's got their own style of play. Gio, what do you like, mate?
I like 2 seconds. I just bought some Portal Spinner, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I just bought I bought a level 3 just then, just for Silver League, since I usually play Silver. I have made it into Gold 3 with the cards that I have bought recently, so I've gone up the ranks quite quickly, actually. I haven't made it into Gold 3 yet because I've rented a few cards out, and it's kept my collection power fairly down. So down that I'm in Silver 2 at the moment. My favorite cards from Chaos Legion Life would honestly it'd have to be like Adelaide Brightwing. I mean, Sloan is a no-brainer. Like, who would have thought, just range would be pretty deadly, when you stack it all up in the back and you have like some beefy dude in the front, with all like the buffs, armor buffs, healing buffs, whatnot. Uriel was pretty beasty, I reckon. Like, definitely he's a must. Especially with the heal now. He's healing every turn instead of what was it? Every second turn. It was broken before. So yeah, they're pretty quick onto that. I like Blinding Reflector Blinding Reflector. I reckon he's good. Stitch Leech, just all the cheap ones for at least people who are starting off. You don't, 5 cents, 3 cents. Like,
so Brightwing, that's the Resurrect one, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. It has immunity, it has swiftness, it has repair, flying, which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that game you linked me because that's when I saw. Wow, you got a couple of legendaries. I don't have a Resurrect in my team at all, so I might have to look into that myself. I don't, and any of my decks, I don't have a Resurrect card. And Matt, when you were talking about snare and earthquake, because I see snare coming up so often now with earthquake, I've actually changed my strategy, and I don't go with wings as much. Maybe have one high health one with wings, but the rest of my deck, I just want to do as much damage as possible before the earthquake to try and bring them down. So they're wasting a snare on my deck. And when I choose my cards now, you've both said the same thing. It's like when I get my ass kicked, whichever card kicked my ass, I go looking for that on the market. You do the same, don't you, Gio? You just go, oh, what just happened? What? Oh, I need that. I need that card.
Or I see a combo. I see combos and how everyone's just healing, the front guy in first position. And I'm just like, dude, that's broken. Like, you can utilize those abilities. 3 or 4 of them are usually 3 in silver. I know gold, you can usually use 4 abilities, as it goes up, right? Usually I say 2, 3 safe in silver. Yeah. Is that what most people use? So when they have all that, and it's just supporting, it's all support in life, especially in life, it's all support for the armor, for life. Yeah. And now it's also with Sloan, it's able to really attack hard, really punch hard. So who else, who I reckon is really good, who's cheap? Chaos Knight. Awesome. It's got shield. It's got giant killer, which would be really good for the future, I think, because there's going to be a lot of 10+ cards that will come out in later packs, I reckon. And it's got at level 10 Inspire, gives all friendly monsters +1 melee attack, which is pretty insane. Yeah, I reckon that's a really good one.
In Melee Mayhem, one Inspire card can make a massive difference. There's the the Orc Sergeant in Earth. If it's Melee Mayhem or something like that, I'll just grab him because Inspire does everybody, improves everybody. And if you're throwing, something like a Vigilator who hits twice, no argument. That Adelaide Brightwing, that is a good call actually. I haven't spent a lot of time researching, but I'm just looking at her stats and thinking, in Noxious Fumes, she's going to be ridiculous because not only does she have immunity, so she's not getting poisoned herself, but Resurrect, when you resurrect one of your teammates, they resurrected without the poison. So she's basically giving 2 cards immunity to poison there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's something that's tripped me up a lot because I'll go to outlast somebody, and I'll kill a couple of their cards or poison will kill them. But I don't have the damage output because I'm expecting poison to knock them off. And you can get a triple resurrect team. Some of these life, you got a summoner that gives resurrect, and then a couple of different cards that have resurrect there. Darius, I think, 10 mana legendary. So you can have 3 different cards all resurrected on their back row, and they're not poisoned anymore.
All immune after that, after they actually come back to life.
Exactly.
That's insane.
So they start the match poisoned. That's all. They're not. There's not a new round of poisonings every round. It's just everybody starts poisoned. So that, just looking at her, I'm like, I might just have a little sneaky. There's one for $100 on the market, so I might just might move some things around and see if I can just pick her up.
It's a no-brainer.
I didn't realize that because each round, you get the poison bloop, 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 bloop. I thought it was a new application every round. So it's just the ongoing effects of the first one each round. I did not know that.
Yep. So Cleanse or Resurrect will permanently remove that poison. Obviously, they can be re-poisoned by another card, but it's just the ones at the start.
Right.
Didn't know.
I did not know that. So what's Brightwing going for at the moment, Gio? Because you just picked up some of those.
Just over $10, $10 to $11, but there's one maxed for 100, so 11 BCX for $101. So
$101 for a maxed.
For a maxed Adelaide Brightwing. And I think maybe because spoken to.
Don't you dare touch that card. Neither of you touch that card. I'm going to snap that up after the
show. We've mentioned a few times to Agro that Adelaide has a burgeoning Splinterlands scene, and sort of trying to position Adelaide as, I guess, the home of Splinterlands in Australia. And so I do have a sneaky suspicion that Adelaide Brightwing might be a subtle nod to Adelaide. So it'd almost be rude not to pick her up.
Yeah.
Hey, representing Adelaide there.
And swiftness, right?
Yeah.
Is deadly, man. Especially when your enemy's got like down 2 speed and you're up a speed or 2. No, GG.
So what's swiftness, Jerry, for the viewers?
All friendly monsters have increased speed, I believe, by 1.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So life in general
true of Soul. Sorry, that's also true of Soul Fiend. The 0 mana fiend for the life team also does swiftness. So that's a handy one to grab, but it's only at max level. So it's only if you're aiming for diamond. But all of those fiends, when you're looking at diamond, they're actually give a really good bonus ability for no mana, right? All it's costing you is a slot. So looking at Adelaide Brightwing and the Soul Fiend, you can speed up your entire team, and yeah, that's good. I think we've got a plan coming together here, boys.
It's a recipe.
All right. A recipe.
It's a recipe.
So with speed, what is life as a suit generally? What is speed like in life? Is it low speed or high speed?
It's in the middle. It's in the middle somewhere. Okay. I'd say it's sort of equal. Fire is the fast one. Life, earth, magic, death, they're all about the same. I mean, it depends which cards you pick. But I wouldn't say there's a particularly slow splinter, just that fire is the fast one. Yeah. But any way you can improve your speed, it improves your miss chances, your chance that they'll miss you, the chance that you'll hit them, and if you go first at all, particularly if you're loading up, this is where I was talking about before, multi-sneak. If you're loading up a lot of cards that all hit the one card, if you can go first, that card is, you can basically say that their first card that you're targeting is probably going to be out of the match in the first round before they get a chance to fire anything off, recharge, do whatever they were planning to do. So it's a good way to, again, put a fly in the ointment. Sorry, Gio, what were you going to say?
I don't remember, but maybe I'll just go on. I like blinding reflector because with life, because they have an emphasis, at least some cards, on armor, right? They would get wrecked by like blue splinters with the magic, but now they have like reflect, like on 2 cards that are just from Chaos Legion, like cheap as well. So you've got blinding reflector, and where is he? I just lost him. Wait, where is he? And you got Pecor. What's his name?
Pelacor, Conjurer.
No.
Riftwing. Riftwing
had it.
Riftwing has reflect, I think, at a high level.
Oh, yeah. Pelacor. Oh, you're right. It's the Conjurer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got reflect as well. He's got flying, and then divine shield at like 7 or something, which is it's really cool. You know? And especially when he's got speed, he's not bad. So
Feral Spirit's one of my favorites too. It's got speed of 5 and sneak. So even though the life isn't that high, with a speed of 5, you can guarantee he's going to get a shot in before he gets taken out. And if you put him in the middle, because the snipe.
Yeah, and he'll dodge a lot of like the actual melee attack, the range, but he won't dodge the magic, which magic reflect. It's there for that reason, which I think is a good safeguard against that, or as good as you can get. Yeah, for at least low level. He's only 2 mana, right? So at least like under 4, like whatever.
It's an awesome card for 2 mana. It's an absolutely awesome card for 2 mana.
Yeah.
But because I maxed out my Thaddeus in Death, I've been scooping up a lot of the Death cards. But Life is, and again, I'm so glad to have both you guys on this one, because Life is my next focus. Because my Tyrus Palladium is level 6. So, I don't have to worry about getting a summoner up at first. And as Gio mentioned, like, Life is so cheap right now. And as long as you guys haven't done it already, I'm going to grab that right when we finished here as well.
I already have, yeah. You can have it. I honestly only got enough for one, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the gold. I was just comparing the gold foil there. It's 500 and something for the gold foil, for a max gold foil. And that's definitely $521 for a max gold foil. So that's definitely doable.
We'll have to name this episode Broke.
It's so funny.
Brokeback Mountain, man.
Well, at least by the time this episode gets out, we've already done it. It's too late. Viewers looking for the cards are gone.
I know we're on Life, right? The whole topic's about Life, but my favorite is Death. I always like going for not meta. So Blue and Earth, although they are the best, I tend to go with anything but that. You know what I mean? So I've focused on Fire, Life, and Death. Life being the latest one, Fire being the second latest, and Death was the first that I had focused on.
Life has always been, Life in the past has always been my strong suit, simply because it's my highest level summoner. Whereas my 4 is my next one, and the rest are all 2s and 3s because they're either alpha or beta packs. So the only reason I've just recently gone hard on Death is because I've been playing Life for so long. And Thaddeus, man, it's just such a cool card. And the Jin, the magic 9 mana Jin, just those 2 cards. Okay, it's max. But now, because every day I get an Earth quest, a Life quest, and I play a lot, and it stirs up the old sort of Life. I miss it. Yeah. Got to scoop up a few cards. So, have you guys anything that either of you two have mentioned that the other wants to elaborate on or ask questions on or anything like that?
Nothing in particular, but when it comes up, I usually load it up into my head and then shoot it off later when everyone's shut the hell up. Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, it's always nice to put a name to the face, but no, I think we're pretty much on the same page. I do play my daughter's account, Evelyn Clark. I play that pretty much every day, and she's in silver to gold. So I do actually, play in the lower leagues and sort of have a feel for that.
You are familiar then?
Yeah, but I've yet to really flesh out the more recent cards in her collection. I'm really just playing with the old alphas and betas. And
the ones that you've sent over.
So it's not new or current Life knowledge in the lower leagues.
Yeah, all of my cards. Hang on, Jay.
I just suck with the older cards because I don't have any. I haven't used them.
I'll sometimes see a name of a guy I've never seen before, and I'll look at look at what he's playing, and I'll think, oh man, I've just played something from way back. It'll be what am I thinking of? What's that 1 mana? I'm going to find it now. It'll be a random promo card that came out, Dragon Whelp or Dragonling Bowman or something like that. There's no one who's arrived in the last 2 years has ever even heard of. We're going to go. He's just going to sit there and say, "What the hell is that card?"
I've got a gold foil Whelp.
Yeah, Shinlo. That's what I'm thinking. Occasionally I have the extra one mana spare, and if I've got something that's boosting that's boosting magic, then I'm like, oh, that's great. Two magic sneak for 1 mana is an easy call. But I just think you know, click on their name and they arrived in December 2021. You're like, dude, this is probably the first time you've even seen this card, let alone come up against it. So that's always fun aspect of having the older cards. But yeah, and I hope they get tickled from knowing that I often get beaten by a blinding reflector, and I go, what just happened? What's this new skill? What's this new talent? So it's great. It's good fun.
Yeah.
I'm 3 years deep, but I'm still in love with the game.
I still play my older cards more off just simply because I know them more. And all of the Chaos Legion cards I've got at the moment, including the leveled ones, they're all ones I've bought off the market because apart from the initial, as soon as the pre-sale was over, I opened what I had. It was only like 15 packs because I was restricted to the vouchers. But since then, I'm hodling all my Chaos. So because I'm going to wait till the end of the airdrop because I'm getting 300 airdrop points per pack that I'm holding. And also, as all of the airdrop cards get released, if I don't open my packs until all of those are out, I've got a chance of if I open them now, there's a whole bunch of cards I don't even know about yet that aren't going to be in the deck. You mentioned that when we were talking on Earth. So I'm hodling all my Chaos packs. And so my Chaos pack strengths are all ones I've just picked up off the market. And it's just, every now and then my DEC will get up to about 3,000, and then I just go looking what's cheap, and just scoop them up and level them up.
And that's what this airdrop does for, I think, just about anyone who's invested on any level in this game is to hodl, is to hold. So with the the APY, man, like it's not bad. Especially when it first started, it was like, what, something ridiculous, like 70-something%. It's like, it's mental. And even now, it's still mental, 33. I mean, it incentivizes just like stacking instead of selling. And that's what I think the devs or whoever's thought of this have really nailed. They've done really good job. Even just,
the way you get to claim every day, you can see on a daily basis how much interest you've earned on your stake every day. It's like, and it just like I mean, I think about 4 or 5. I'm not massive, 4 or 5 SPS a day just from staking. Like, as you go back to thinking in bank terms of getting that much interest. So I think I've got roughly about, I'm guessing here, I think maybe 5,000 SPS, or close to. So if I had $5,000 in the bank, what bank is going to give me $5 a day for that $5,000? Like, it's just crazy. Point. So hodl.
Yeah. And as for like the cards themselves, how they match up each of the suits, the splinters, to go up against each other and counter each other, like it takes a lot of thought, And when you're bringing in new cards as well, and like, damn, now we have to plan around, this set, and how is it going to compare to the other sets before it? And it's a mind rack. It really is, and I think they've done a mad job at it.
I really have to take my hat off to these guys, because I know in previous like online gaming type stuff, mostly MRGs and stuff, every time they nerf something, it's just like face palm, like this doesn't work anymore. This is screwed. Like it's every time they nerf something, they just totally blow something out of the water. Whereas this game, so much you can tell how much thought's gone into it, because they don't totally screw something by changing something else. Its balance is constantly maintained.
Yeah, or like in like other games, like it's released and in the first month they have to ban it. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, just take it out of the league. This is not. We have to wait until we break the game more later on to release it, because then it makes more sense. It's more broken, but all the rest of the cards are pretty broken as well. So it's like, wait, we're not up to that level yet. Let's just put it on the back burner until
Well, I think it's important. it's important to recognise that Yabba's been planning this game or a game in his head since he was 9 or 10. He's been obsessed with the idea of making his own game. He's worked on heaps of games, and so obviously, you know, Aggie's a big part of it too. But I think I've heard mention that Yabba's got a massive spreadsheet where everything is, you know, allocated a separate point system and different strengths and weaknesses. Wow. And there is a lot of background work that goes into looking at new cards, what skills and abilities make sense for this specific design of card, you know, and also how's it going to interact with all the other cards in play? Is it going to make that Splinter too powerful, or is there, so there is so much work that's gone into it, but there is also so much structure to the thinking that's gone into it. And, you know, it's not just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. It's really well thought out. So,
and it shows.
Yeah, and I've never had any hesitation with knowing the guys, obviously only online, we've never met in person, but knowing the team and seeing the way they think, it just, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer, whether that's buying cards or SPS or whatever else.
I have an example. When I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, I stopped for a while and went back into it, and I bought a $500 deck. You know, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna go to locals and whatever else and use it, and it got banned. Like 3 months later, it was like certain cards got banned, and it tanked the whole deck. It's like now it's like worth nothing. You know what I mean? They just kill it. That's what they do. They just make the next best thing, and everyone's hype on that. Then they, you know, break it to the core, and then the new set comes out, and some other sets of, you know, monsters, let's call them, whatever, yeah, and they work really well together. And now everyone's jumping on those, and because they're the main targeted cards. But I just feel here everyone uses a lot of. It's not just one suit that people use. You know, I feel like there's a lot of cards that counteract, and that's what's really cool, because they're not trying, like, you feel good about buying cards because you know, hey, yeah, sure, things tank, markets tank, but these cards are good for the game, you know, in as a whole, and it's not going anywhere that quickly. It's not like next season that it's all just going to be for nothing. You're not going to spend 500 now. It's like, oh, okay, it's gone now. It's like it's banned, or it's not relevant.
And I think a lot of that relevancy comes in, like Holazor was talking in the last episode, and Matt and I have talked previously, like these guys interact with the community, that on Discord, they have the feedback, and they play. Like Holazor was saying, like he was playing a game one day, and loads up and he goes, oh, I'm playing Yabba P Matt. I'm going to lose. So they're still involved. It's not an ivory tower structure. I love that. I love that. Matt?
And I think even if the meta changes, and you know, you've got a card that, you know, it used to be good and now it's not so good, except in specific niche circumstances, there's still that scarcity aspect to it where they're still in demand. So I've just looked up the eponymous, the well-known, the card nobody wants, the red-headed stepchild is the Rusty Android, and just looked him up, and a max one will set you back. Yeah, max one will set you back $300, and that's not because he suddenly got good. It's just because he's 2 years old now, and people who want him.
And it's scarce and collectors. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he came out regularly in the reward packs, Rusty Android. I think I leveled mine up a bit simply from the reward chests. And the Zoom reminder popped up a little while ago, so I'm not sure exactly how much we've got left over. So I think we'll get there. But it's like, let's if Zoom are going to be doing this, I'm going to look into the Brave. I just saw the advert today on Brave browser that Brave now have an in-browser talk platform like this. So I'm going to check this out before the next episode and look into that, because Brave is also the official browser of Splinterlands. And give Brave a bit of a plug, because they've just done an awesome job, I think too. So in wrapping up, because I think we've got less than 5 minutes. Any final thoughts from anyone? Or
I just picked up those 4 Adelaide Bright Wings, so I'm going to have a max gold foil as soon as I hit the combine button. Just while we're talking. I know it's not live, but I kind of feel like somebody's listening in going, oh, I might do that. I might no, that's
well, we've created that energy into the ether. Exactly. Everyone will just be going, I'll just go to the computer, Bright Wing.
Right while the iron's hot, you know. So yes, I've grabbed those. So the regular foil is still there as far as I can tell for the 101. So, but yeah, that's you just got to do it sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So that's my closing thought. I've got a new gold foil Adelaide Brightwing, and I'm pretty sure it's homage to Adelaide the city. So I couldn't not do that, I guess.
And you saw it live.
Yeah.
So this is the hardcore. This is what it takes to be at a championship level. And you just seize those opportunities as they arrive. Gio, closing thoughts?
Look, life, it's cheap, it's effective, at least when you're starting off. And for gold, I'm guessing. I haven't really played in gold yet, but I reckon it would be effective. I don't doubt it. But for silver and for at least silver and bronze, I know it works well, because in the bronze there has a lot of there's heaps of like melee sort of cards that you can use. There's you know the knight. There's it has shield, and in bronze everyone has low attack, so you are like numbing the attack. Let's say if it's 2, it just goes down to 1. Yeah, you know that's it. And if it's 1, you don't even get hit. It's like 0. It just negates it.
Especially if you've got shields and it's just chipping away at your shield.
Yeah, and when people have that mentality, okay, I'm just going to spread the field with many low-cost cards with 1 attack, well, you know, or whatever, it's just not effective. It's just not. And you get that at level 1. At level 1 with that card. And yeah, so it's good for melee. It's good for range with Sloan. It's good for magic because there's a lot of good cards with that. I just think it's an all-rounder. I just think it's the people's choice.
The people's choice.
It's the people's choice.
That's a great outro. And if you've enjoyed this episode, remember every week one viewer will win 10% of the rewards of the post for curation. So put in a comment. Any questions about anything we've covered, put a comment below. Any feedback, any suggestions, anything at all, comment below. If your comment creates the most engagement on the post, you will receive 10% of the reward for the post. And that happens every week. A viewer gets 10% of the post rewards. And likewise, we're all on Discord, the 3 of us. So it's the Splinterlands server. If you're an Aussie, jump on Hive Australia as well. And we have a Splinterlands room in Hive Australia. Get involved. Ask questions. Don't not do something because you didn't know or you're afraid to ask. This is the most approachable, knowledgeable community I've encountered across any platform ever. No hesitation in saying that. So get involved. That's all I say. Get involved.
Yeah, I have one more closing thought.
Yes.
I find that there's a lot more people speaking about this game. There's a lot of YouTubers, heaps. You can just like look up Splinterlands and just like heaps are upcoming. They're just showing up. You know, you got them on YouTube even. You got obviously have them on Hive and whatnot. Such as yourself, Bob, you know, just like you're getting all these Diamond League players all around and even lower league players, you know, it's really cool. I think it's interesting take on things. I haven't seen this before, this format, in, much. Most people just make a video about cards, about strategies, which is awesome as well. But I like this. This is
all right.
More casual. This is really cool. Less formal, informal.
The informality.
Yeah.
All right. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share, all that stuff. Comment below, and look forward to seeing you again on the next episode. And we'll click out and we'll all disappear. We'll channel that life magic across the screen so we all disappear at once.
Hell yeah.
I'm Boba Fett. Peace out. All right, everyone jump out of the screen.
Sure thing.
Shoulder in that. Needs to go a little bit lower.